All right, people. How's it going? Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the live stream. How we doing? It's felt like ages since I've done one of these, but it's actually not. We've only had 1 week off, haven't we? It's not been a mad long break, but it feels too long. Good to see you all. Welcome. Welcome. Hello, Ghost, Dr. Ghost, Xavier, Aini, Joshua, Jerry, Lil Sloppy. Some of you got some mad names, honestly. It's brilliant. Theo, Martin, Jamie, Marie, Hannah, Callum, Rosalie, Louis, Brandon, Smudges, Gabriel, Hans, Jericho, Yo-Yo, Link, Saji, Pickled, Healer, good to see you, mate, Geordie, Gerard, Hagen, Sem, Rafika, Massey, Shanky, Adri, Dave, Kirill, Hans, Julia, Froster, Recon, Jack, Jean, Joe, John, how do you pronounce it? Welcome, everyone. How are we all doing? How are we all doing? Are we excited for what typically is a bit of a meh Grand Prix? Typically, Russia, Sochi isn't the most exciting, but rain. Now, actually, Sochi weather. What is Google saying? There is 100% chance of precipitation in Sochi on Saturday. But how much? I can't tell you. I'm not sure. But if rain does happen on Saturday, that should hopefully, fingers crossed, give us a more mixed up grid. My ideal would be, Friday can be dry, that's fine. Saturday, rain, mix up the grid a bit. Sunday, dry. Get some overtakes, get some passing. Where's the pole? So straw pole is down. So I couldn't do my typical pre-race predictions from you lot. So yeah, that kind of sucks. I was trying to work it out last night and then I went on Twitter and realised it's just down for everyone. You were clubbing in Bournemouth, which is where I used to go to university, and you saw a guy in a Veloce shirt. What, in a club? I mean, fair play. I don't know if it's I wouldn't recommend club garbs for it, but do a YouTube poll. Yeah, I guess, yeah, I don't know with YouTube polls how many options I can get, but I can try. Because I think it's just yes or no. I think it's just like two. I don't know how many options you can add. You can only have 4 options, I think. But okay, we'll work that as we go. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming. Now, round 14, Sochi, Russian Grand Prix. What are we thinking? Do we think it's going to be good or not? If you think it's going to be good, say yes. If you think it's going to be terrible, say no. YouTube has removed polls. No, it hasn't. I can literally see the poll option on my screen. There's more yeses than there'd usually be at the Russian Grand Prix, for sure. Hang on, my camera's a little bit high. That's better. That's better. I was a bit low in the frame. Right. Yeah, I reckon it's going to be all right, because you've got... So, Verstappen has got the grid drop. Have Red Bull confirmed if he's actually going to take a new engine? Have they actually confirmed that yet? Because I know that's pretty guaranteed, right? They haven't confirmed it, okay. But I know Charles is starting at the back. And Max will probably start at the back. I feel like this is the time as ever. Like, this is Mercedes track. This is Mercedes neck of the woods. They've got a 100% record in the history of time in Formula One at the Russian Grand Prix. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of damage limitation, but obviously this is kind of Red Bull, I think, have to see this as a bit of an opportunity. Charles is taking an engine. Apparently they're testing out a new hybrid system in the Ferrari, but they've only given it to Charles. So Charles takes the engine penalty because of damage sustained from Hungary on the battery pack, apparently, something along those lines. No, Dr. Ghost, if you go back to like back in the early times of the sport, when we used to race in Russia, back in the, I don't know, was it 50s, 60s? Mercedes won all those races as well. So it is technically for the Russian Grand Prix history. But yeah, the idea of Max and Charles starting at the back makes this race a lot more exciting, the prospect of it. But it's hard to get away from the thought that this is going to be a Mercedes cakewalk. Which, you know what, like, I want the champion. My biggest priority this season is that the championship is decided in the final race of the season. So if Lewis gets some more points than Max here, so be it. I'm not really that fussed where them two finish. Because as long as they're close, that's kind of all I really care about. I want an Abu Dhabi finale, especially with the new setup at Abu Dhabi. It looks like it's going to be a better track, better overtaking opportunities. But yeah, so I'm not really asked where them two finish, as long as they're close to each other. But I do hope, obviously, given Valtteri's fantastic performance at Monza, that he secures the dub, because I want to see Bottas win another race before he leaves to Alfa Romeo, because he might not ever get another chance at a top team. We don't know where Alfa Romeo are going to be. But also, this is his neck of the woods. This is his backyard, essentially. This is his Finnish Grand Prix. But I reckon it's going to be pretty simple. And talking of Valtteri, he was the last person to win here. That image, I'm sorry, that image is too good. Look at that. I absolutely love that picture. Look at it. No sense. No, he doesn't give a toss. It's like, nope. Straight in the eyeballs. What a guy. I love it. I love it. It's actually quality. Bless. Actually, hang on. I've got my ISO set to auto. One sec. There we go. That's better. Oh, bless him. Bless him. Do you reckon, like, Bottas, when he's in the shower, he gets the shower head and just puts it in his face? I could imagine him doing that. Thank you, Elliot, for joining Friends of Tommo. Appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much. £2 a month crew. Thank you very much, mate. And thank you, Dave, for the 5 CHF. I have the feeling that Mercedes will try, that Hamilton doesn't have to accept a grid penalty unless he has a bad qualifying. Yeah, I think Hamilton's going to be fine. I don't think there's any issues with his power unit or anything. But yeah, I mean, we'll talk about this in my predictions, because we'll get onto my predictions for the race next. Again, sorry, we don't have yours, but I will put some polls out. Oh, thank you, SJ as well, for becoming a friend of Tommo. Thank you very much, mate. Very kind of you. But yeah, it's typically a cakewalk for Mercedes. The run down to the first corner of Sochi is actually pretty good. It's just the kind of final sector, the final two sectors are just a bit dead. That long left-hander, bless you, that long left-hander I really like. But yeah, from after the first sector, it just gets a bit dead. But anyway, on to my predictions. So my race winner, my driver of the weekend, my struggle of the weekend, and my team of the weekend. That sounded like a bobcat. What's up with the Danny tweets? I have no idea what you're talking about. What, Daniel Ricciardo or Daniel Kvyat? Hang on. Some of you lot are talking about Daniel Ricciardo tweets. When did Daniel Ricciardo barely ever tweets, does he? Oh, Lando's obviously on the wind up. There you go. That's obviously apology. Has anyone ever played like FIFA apology rules? I remember like back in the day at uni, I was quite good at FIFA, and I remember I beat my flatmate Tom about 25 times in a row, and the punishments kind of steadily got worse. Do you want to see what the? Okay, it's not any. It's just Lando messing around on Daniel's Twitter. Hang on. Oh, look, my screen's down here. Hang on. That, and then boom. There it is. That's just Lando pissing about. Whatever. Anyway, right. Back to table tennis. Yeah, there's a table tennis table at Veloce. Everyone at Veloce is good at table tennis because there's a table tennis table there. The Haas drivers did get signed. Yeah, we'll talk about all the drivers in a bit. But yeah, onto my predictions for the Russian Grand Prix. Also, I wasn't sure whether they'd be allowed to call it the Russian Grand Prix because of the whole, Mazepin has to race under that RAF acronym and like, but I guess it's just the host venue. So I guess that whole Russian ban, that sports ban doesn't come into account. But anyway, thank you Luke for the $5 as well. Appreciate it, mate. Sorokin is at Sochi this weekend. Swiss and Alpine and Williams out in a triple Russian podium. Sergei Sorokin was I thought he was very good. I liked Sergey. I thought he was a good driver. I think at the time he raced, his if you've seen my rookies season, I've frozen. It's all gone wrong. Well, there we go. That was weird. Yeah, he did a better job than Stroll that year, I think. Must have kicked a wire or something. Anyway, right. For anyone who was on my 24-hour stream, you know that my camera does that quite a lot. It's because of the connection I've got. Anyway, right, I'm actually going to show you my predictions now. Here we go. I think Lewis is going to win the race. I think Mercedes are going to dominate team of the weekend. I think Bottas will be driver of the weekend. And I think Charles, coming from the back, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a slog. I'm not sure if this track suits the Ferrari because it's not a tight and twisty one. Yeah, I am saying that Bottas is leading the race and he lets Lewis pass for the win. It's boring, but I think that's the way it's going to go. I think Bottas is going to let Lewis pass. Well, this is it. This is a good poll. Bottas let Hamilton pass for the W. Yes or no? Here we go. Right. Poll incoming. Right. Do you think Bottas would let Lewis pass for the race win? Click yes if you think he would let him pass. Click no if you don't think he would. Because I think he would. I think now that everything's announced, the dust has settled. I think, everyone knows where they stand now. I think he would let him pass. Personally. Yes, it's 60-40, so it's pretty split. I think he has a choice for sure, but I just think that, I don't know. I think that Bottas like the ex-girlfriend who hasn't moved out yet. That's very good. I just think I think Bottas and Lewis have a good relationship. I think he'll want his mate to win his 8th world title, and I think the points obviously they could make a huge difference. P1, P2, that's 7 points. So, but I said he would never do it again. Thank you, John, for the 199. But again, I don't know, like, because he's not fighting for his Mercedes seat anymore. Maybe I just feel like he would. I feel like he'd let him pass. Because if Lewis was streaks ahead, then I don't think he would necessarily. But because it's tight, I think Valtteri would play the same game. Whether you think that's right or not, it's entirely down to you. But I think he would. I think he'd play the same game. I just think Bottas is. I just think he's a sound guy, and I think he'd want to I think he would put helping Lewis get potentially the 8th world title over him winning a race. He's got his fair share of race wins. I want to see him win a race this year, but I think he'd let him pass. I mean, the only time he's really put up a fight in terms of not listening to the team was at Catalonia. And especially the fact that he didn't go for that fastest lap. The fact that he didn't go for that fast, apparently he was purple. He did get the fastest lap, don't get me wrong, but he did lift off at the end. And he was like, I was just having fun. Like, the fact that, well, I never actually saw confirmation myself, but am I correct in saying that Bottas did lift off at the end of that lap, at the end of Zandvoort? That's what everyone was saying. So if Bottas is only in it for himself, why would he do that? Because that's just 1 point. Yeah. So if he's going to do that in Zandvoort, why would this be any different? You know what I mean? That's just for 1 point. But yeah. Thank you, Jack, for the 20 Aussie dollars, mate. Very kind of you. Appreciate it, man. Hi, Tom. I know Gasly has been doing bits this year, but is that car where it's supposed to be and Yuki's just really underperforming? Well, the race, I was watching a video from the race like yesterday or the day before, and they had like a performance graph of where they believe all the cars to be relative to one another, and they've put AlphaTauri as the 5th quickest car, so quicker than the Alpine, the Aston Martin, which I probably agree with. I think Yuki's kind of struggling, he's kind of underperforming, and Gasly's performing right at the ceiling of that car. Why there's such a big discrepancy between the two. Yuki's still not comfortable fully in F1 machinery, clearly. I think he'll get there, but again, he's a diamond in the rough, Yuki. I think given the time he will get there, but it's been a very shaky start. But I do think that AlphaTauri is a good car. I do think it's a better car than the Alpine and the Aston Martin. And it's difficult to say for sure, but I think so. I think it's a better car because look, again, you see Gasly's qualifying performances, and then you see like particularly kind of Ocon and Fernando have been very consistent the last few races. Fernando's been consistent for most of the season. Ocon had that kind of dry patch, but even then, like in the last. What is it? Hang on, let me double check. Because them two have scored. Hang on. So in the last, where are they? Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 races. Ocon's got points in the last 5. Fernando, if we ignore Belgium, because he probably would have got points in Belgium if the race had gone ahead, let's be real. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Including Belgium. 8 excluding Belgium. Like, they're performing at a very good level, but Gasly's still, at least in quali pace and most race finishes as well, ahead of them too. So I do think, as much as I think them two are driving at a very good level at Alpine. I think they're the closest teammates and they're pushing each other really well. But yeah, I think Pierre, the AlphaTauri is the better car for sure. Thank you, Yeshwant. I'm good, thank you, mate. Thank you very much. What was I going to talk about next? Okay, yeah, struggle of the weekend, yeah, because Charles is going to start at the back, so I think it might be tricky. I don't know if this track really suits Ferrari. I mean, I was proven wrong at Monza. I think most people were. We weren't expecting much from Ferrari at Monza, and they delivered, but we'll see. Thank you, I played Sharp Mana for the 449. Is Kimi back this weekend? I believe so. I believe Kimi is back this weekend. Yes. Oh, Scotty's going for the Norris podium this weekend. Well, I have turbo drivered him in fantasy, so hopefully you're right, Scott. That'd be lovely. Good to see you, mate. Hoping he can give Putin another death stare. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen that. What, Kimi bogged out Putin? Love that. That's vibes. I like that. But yeah, I think, yeah, McLaren's obviously good straight line speed. There's quite a lot of straights at Sochi. I reckon, yeah, they could be in a good place. Daniel podium. I don't want to get too jumping on Daniel Ricciardo hype train. You know I love Daniel. You know I think Daniel at his peak is one of the best drivers in F1, but I don't want to get too carried away with one result, you know. But yeah, if it rains, we know how good Lando is in the wet, so yeah. Oh, thank you, SRL Green. Appreciate you joining. Thank you. I suppose, yes, for anyone who joins the channel and not during a live stream, I'm not going to see that necessarily. But yeah, thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Aston Martin podium. Don't know about that. A bit of a stretch, if you ask me. But anyway, that's what I think is going to happen. Can I actually... Right, hang on. Let's do... Problem is the polls. I can't do more than 4 options. So there's not many parameters I can define in 4 options, unfortunately, in a poll. But yeah, 61% of you think Bottas will let Hamilton past for the W, so we'll see. But anyway, right, I'm now reversed. So Lewis Hamilton, yes, I think he always goes well in Russia. Bottas gets the dub, but it's not exactly a bad track for Lewis, I wouldn't say. But I do think, obviously, Max taking that penalty, it's going to be a bit easier for the Mercedes boys. Again, I think he'll win the race. I think Bottas will be quicker over the course of the weekend because he typically is. But I think Lewis will still come out on top, probably Bottas P2. Again, Verstappen, it's going to be exciting to see him push from the back. I hope he takes the engine penalty because I think long term in the season it's beneficial, and short term it will be more exciting to see him cut through the pack, you know. I'll talk about the Haas lads, don't you worry. Easy win for Lewis. Like, well, yeah, I think Bottas will let him pass, and I think he'll be running P2. So as wins go. But I think it'll be an easy weekend for Mercedes. Perez. Now Perez needs to be a fly in the ointment. Okay, Sergio has struggled clearly in that car, and he's only got 2 podiums in 14 races in what is a lot of people's fastest car. It's certainly the closest the Red Bull's ever been to the Mercedes in the turbo hybrid era. I think that's without any shadow of doubt now. Whether it's quicker or not, you can debate that all you like, but it is definitely the closest it's been. And yeah, Perez on a weekend like this where Max is taking a grid penalty, might be starting at the back, then what the hell are you on about, bruv? Hang on. Oh, wait, what am I doing? There we go. Boom. Yeah, it's like Perez needs to deliver this weekend to help the Red Bull push. You know what I mean? He's been a way off Max still. Come on, Sergio. We know many people's driver of the year last year. Many people's driver of the year last year. Most people's, I feel. For me, it was Gasly just edged him, but him and Sergio were clear, I think. And obviously Lewis was up there because he won the world title, obviously. But yeah, needs to get better from Perez, hopefully for him, because I love Sergio. He's a great bloke, as far as I can see anyway. He looks like a really sound geezer. And yeah, I hope he has a good weekend, because Red Bull need it. Ferrari, yep, Charles starting at the back. I think it's going to be a difficult weekend for Charles. I mean, he might qualify well, but again, if he knows he's starting at the back, he's probably not going to put himself out in qualifying too much. Carlos, again, with Charles starting at the back, and Carlos, I think, has been delivering all in all for Ferrari. He's impressed me more than any other new driver in a new team this year. But with Charles starting at the back, points for Ferrari. With McLaren's 1-2 last weekend, that puts them P3 now in the Constructors' Championship. This could be a good weekend again for McLaren, so Sainz needs to deliver big time, because Norris and Ricciardo, what a 1-2 that was. Mr. EC Football, oh yeah, there's your super chat. Yeah, they had just a perfect weekend for McLaren. First 1-2 since 2011 and first win since 2012, wasn't it? Madness. But yeah, thank you, Mr. EC Football, for the $1.99. Vettel, Lando, Daniel Ricciardo, Verstappen, Hamilton, all good in wet. Yeah, I mean, I think most drivers. Sainz, good in wet as well. Perez. I mean, everyone should be good in wet. Russell. I mean, Russell literally put it second at Spa, so you can't say he's not good in the wet. But yeah, anyone who doesn't know what geezer means, it's like, yeah, like a geezer, I don't know. Not like a geyser, like isn't it some kind of volcanic thing, like the geyser, different kind of geyser. But yeah, I think I agree with Scott. I think it will be a good weekend for McLaren. I'm not getting carried away with Daniel. I still think Lando will come out ahead this weekend. That's it. GYSER. Geezer, fella, buddy, governor, all that, right? But yeah, should be good for McLaren. Not much more to say on them, really. Aston Martin. Tricky. I didn't get many of my pre-season predictions correct, but I did predict that they'd have a struggle this year relative to the season before, and they definitely have. They're definitely falling off the back of Alpine. You know, Stroll is getting into the points way more than Vettel. I mean, I think Stroll's got 8 or 7 point scoring finishes, and Seb's got like 4. But Seb's point scoring finishes have obviously been much better, and he did have Hungary taken away from him, to be fair. Hang on, what's the Stroll push? No, I don't think Stroll pushed Vettel. It was a bit. I agree. It was a bit too much on your teammate. But I think if that's not your teammate, I think that's fair. But I think because it obviously compromised Seb, but I think Stroll had the position, so I don't agree that he pushed him off track. But yeah, Seb's finished in the points. So 5th in Monza, 2nd in Azerbaijan, 9th in France, disqualified from Hungary, 5th in Belgium. So 4 point scoring finishes. It should be 5. Right, we know this. And then Stroll's got 10th Bahrain, 8th Imola, 8th Monaco, retired in Azerbaijan, could have been points there. 10th France, 8th Styria, 8th Silverstone, 7th Italy. So, but yeah, it's just the lack of consistency. You know, Stroll's been more consistent, but still, like, Vettel's shown more promise for sure. But of course he has. Like, he's a better driver than Lance. Like, come on, it's just true. But yeah, difficult time for Aston Martin. I think they, there's big plans. Lawrence Stroll is, they're building that fat off new building, aren't they? In Silverstone, in their current facility. Fat off new office, they've signed Martin Whitmarsh, ex McLaren as well. Madness. So they're making moves. The personnel, Andy Green is arguably the best technical director there is. He's up there with with all the other top designers, with Newey, with Allison, I think. But yeah. Well, I guess no. Andy Green's not really a technical director, is he? He's more like he's not a team principal, but he kind of is. I don't know. James Key's up there as well. Yeah, James Key. It's true. But yeah. Tricky time for Aston Martin. I don't know where they're going to finish in this race. I'm not expecting much. Alpine, we've already talked about Alonso and Ocon. I think they've been very, very good this year. Alonso has massively exceeded my expectations. And Ocon has met them, if not slightly exceeded as well. I mean, Ocon had that rough patch, didn't he? Those 4 races, retired, 14th retired. But other than that, he's been in the points, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times this year. Alonso's been in the point 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times this year. So Alonso's got 1 more point scoring finish than Esteban, 5 points ahead of him in the Drivers' Championship, but it's close. 10th and 11th. It is close. Very close. What do you mean? What about Gaz? I've not talked about AlphaTauri yet. Patience, Vedant. Patience. Oh yeah, and obviously, yeah. I mean, Ocon got the dub. Don't get me wrong. Obviously benefited massively from the huge crash, but kept Seb behind him for the whole race, who was using too much fuel. Naughty Seb. It's not his fault, don't worry, I'm joking. Thank you, Gus, for the New Zealand dollar, mate. Appreciate it. And thank you, Fury Inferno, for joining Friends of Tommo. Thank you very much. But yeah, I think it'll be alright. I think Alpine. I think one of them will get in the points probably. Actually, no. I'm going double point scoring finish for Alpine. Double point scoring finish for Alpine, I think. Yeah, AlphaTauri. Again, I think Tsunoda's really struggling, and it's only been highlighted by the fact that Gasly's doing such a good job. That just makes it even more difficult for Yuki. Yeah, it's a bit of a L for Yuki. I hope he picks it up. I love Yuki Tsunoda. People think he was literally he's my favourite F2 driver last year. I was pulling for him. Go look at my old tweets, right? Yuki Tsunoda hype train. I was front and centre, mate. Trust me. But it's not quite pulled off this year, is it? Also, thank you, Embray Rally, for joining Friends of Tommo. Thank you. Nice Yaris. Love that Yaris rally car. Beautiful. And thank you, Hipster Fortress Shitposts, for the $5 Aussie. What happened to AlphaTauri? They had a car as fast as McLaren and Ferrari in the beginning of the season. Well, I mean, I think, Gasly... I think the development is obviously gonna vary between teams. I do think, Gasly's, behind Ricciardo in the Drivers' Championship, but I don't think he wasn't behind Ricciardo before Ricciardo's win. Yeah, I just think they kind of sit in that gap between Ferrari and McLaren and ahead of Alpine, Aston Martin. You know what I mean? They just kind of sit there. But yeah, maybe they just can development a bit earlier. Focus on next year. Again, I'm not really sure how much help they can get from Red Bull or how much they will take from Red Bull. But yeah, we'll see. Alfa Romeo, Kimi is back. Kubica did a very solid job. I thought very solid job, all things considered, when he jumped into that seat. Antonio had a worldie quali in Zandvoort, a worldie quali at Monza. Couldn't convert in the race, which is a shame. He's fighting for his seat, Antonio, for sure. The Italian government are being lobbied in to help, apparently. I mean, I don't think Giovinazzi's shown enough over the course of his career in F1 to merit that seat over a driver like Oscar Piastri, even over someone like Callum Ilott, to be honest. I think Gio's quali pace has never really been an issue. I mean, in his rookie season against Kimi, he outqualified Kimi 9 times. Kimi outqualified him 11 times. 9 times against Kimi Räikkönen, who'd just come off the back of finishing 3rd in the Drivers' Championship the year prior for Ferrari. So it's like, I don't think that's ever been the problem. And typically, Giovinazzi is really good at starts, but that wasn't the case at Zandvoort, unfortunately, for him. And then he got a puncture. And then Monza, he just didn't see science and just drifted into him. So isn't Alpha Iron Porsche for 2023? I mean, again, like, I don't know. There's no guarantee. Like, Teo's so young. You know what I mean? What the... What the hell? Joe, are you sure, mate? Are you actually sure, Joe? Joe D's just giving me $500. Mate, I don't know what to say. I mean, mate, I hope, Joe, I hope that's penny change for you, mate. Thank you. Oh my God. Wow, I don't know what to say. That's new wheelbase. Minton, do you want some treats? Jesus, Joe, thank you, mate, so much. Honestly, that's I don't know what to say. Thank you so much. That's ridiculous. I saw I saw the currency and I was like, that can't be dollars. That must be a different currency. That 500 is like £5. But thank you, Joe, mate. Vibe. Thank you so much. Yeah, imagine if that's a misclick. If it isn't, honestly, if it is a misclick, please let me know. It's not Guan Yu Joe, don't worry, it's a different Joe. We know Guan Yu Joe's got a lot of money. Bringing a lot of money to the Joe or Joe. Wow, thank you so much, man. Mate, what a vibe. Thank you so much, honestly. Oh, and Elliot with the 6960. Oh, mate. Thank you, Elliot. I know you Aussies are all bloody stuck indoors, aren't you? So that's a bit of a shit show over there at the minute. So, mate, far too generous. Thank you. Oh dear, you lot are too kind to me, honestly. I mean, I suppose not all of you would have heard. So I had a bit of a shocker a few days ago, actually, regarding YouTube money. I realised a couple of days ago that 144 of my 159 videos to that point had been demonetized for the last 3 months. Just the monetization was somehow switched off on all of them. Not like demonetized for any like automated like copyright strike reason. It was as if I'd gone through and demonetized every single video prior to that. So I don't know how it happened. YouTube couldn't give me an answer. They were just like, well, it looks like user error. And I'm like, well, I mean, maybe I did make a mistake, but I don't know how I could have accidentally demonetized every single video on my channel, because when the demonetization came in, that would have been every video on my channel at the time, because it was 3.5 months ago, and it was only a few days ago I noticed it. But the reason I only noticed it a few days ago is because most of my revenue comes from my most recent videos, because it's a view-based thing. But maybe it was me, I don't know. But that was a bit of a deal, so thank you. Oh, I don't want to think how many thousands I lost out through that, but never mind. Your generosity is honestly far too much. Thank you, Kraken Official, for joining Friends of Tommo as well. If you just want to you don't have to give me $500, £2 a month, you can join Friends of Tommo, right? I don't know you, Gam. I have no idea how much I lost, but it's in the thousands for sure. And thank you again, Elliot, for another 5. Government is giving us $750 a week in lockdown. At least I can do. $750 a week. That's actually pretty good. Not bad, but you are having to stay inside, so that kind of sucks. Anyway, thank you for your generosity. But back to the video. Yeah, Kimi, obviously, this will be his first race since he announced his retirement, because of course he announced it and then he got COVID. Although I wouldn't put it past Kimi to, like, you know, fake a test so you could just go off for a couple of weeks and just chill. You know what I mean? Like, let the hysteria die down. Because I reckon Kimi, like, if he had raced at Zandvoort, he would have hated all the attention. I reckon he would have hated it. You know what I mean? So he's kind of let it die down now. Took a couple of weeks away, chilling on his boat, right? And now he's back, and there'll be a bit less hysteria than there would have been otherwise. So fair play. But look, I hope Kimi has a good last few races. I've said it before, I say it again. I think now is definitely the right time. You know, his performances were starting to waver. He was starting to make these silly mistakes. And you've got so many good, talented young drivers coming through that I think, you know, it's an opportunity in that seat. Obviously, Bottas has taken his seat like for like, and then is Gio going to stay? We'll see. We'll see. Thank you, Yo-Yo, again for the 669, mate. Appreciate it. Funny numbers. Ha! Lockdown life is fun, isn't it? 69420. Williams. George Russell is moving to Mercedes, which means Alexander Albonio will be racing alongside Nicholas Latifi. Hold that thought. But yeah, for this week, Latifi was kind of robbed, honestly. Kind of robbed. You know, the pit stops meant George got the jump on him. Latifi probably would have got P10 fairly on merit at Monza, but he'd been having a better weekend than George. Yes, George still out-qualified him, but all in all, yeah, I think Latifi was a bit robbed, not gonna lie. But look, at the end of the day, George capitalised on an opportunity, got P9, but Latifi's performances have been improving. But again, we'll talk a lot more about George and Latifi, Russell and Nicholas very soon. And then Haas have confirmed their driver lineup officially now for 2022, and coronavirus, and they're staying put, which I think is a ridiculous decision from Haas. Regardless, put aside what I think of Mazepin, right? If you're going to keep Mazepin, then get rid of Schumacher. Like, they clearly aren't working together, and they've said it themselves. Like, Mick said he can't see the relationship recovering. You know, they've scratched off all of 2021. They haven't developed this car at all, right? To build and hit the ground running in 2022 with two drivers who just keep crashing into each other. Like, and it's just a mad decision to me. Like, if you're going to keep Nikita, then get Mick a seat. Like, give Mick a seat elsewhere. I think Schumacher and Bottas would have been a great lineup for Alfa Romeo. To be honest, we know Mazepin's not losing that seat. Maybe it was because they couldn't find Schumacher a seat elsewhere, and Ferrari were just like, no, we're not having him dropped. I don't know, but it's just a weird decision to me. Like, if you're going to stick two rookies in your car in a season when you're going to write off that car and not worry about performances, okay, they're going to crash a lot. It's going to happen, but fair enough. Like, I kind of understand it. But the whole point of writing off 2021 is that they've got this great car in 2022 that can challenge in the top of the midfield like they did back in 2018. and they're just keeping this driver lineup that just can't drive against each other. It's weird. It's weird. I guess maybe they're hoping that the Haas will be more competitive next year, so it won't just be them two fighting each other all the time. They'll be fighting other drivers. But Mazepin just needs to chill out. Like, he's just way too aggressive on track. Way too aggressive. Just needs to rein it in. But it is what it is. Thank you, fisting the system. Some of your names, honestly, on here are quality. Absolute top tier. But there we go. That's all the drivers spoken about. We have spoken of all the drivers. That is all done. And I'm going to wrap it up there. I mean, mate, Joe, honestly, thank you so much, my friend. If you're still here in chat, I haven't seen you pop up in chat, but Joe, you are far too kind. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever gender you are, whatever orientation you are, whether you're human, whether you're not human, I guess. Thank you. And thank you, Elliot, as well, for the big dono. Much appreciated. Thank you, Dua, for joining Friends of Tommo. Dua Indra. Dua. And thank you, Alan, for joining Friends of Tommo as well. £2 a month crew. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. And before you go, I have a little surprise. If you want a bit more Tommo content, okay? Because I don't possibly know how you could have too much Tommo content, okay? I don't think that is possible, okay? Definitely not. Well, go check your sub boxes, because there is a new video live. New vid, who dis? New vid, who dis? I tried to spam it in chat and it didn't work. Hang on. There we go. Go watch my latest video. I'll put it in the chat. Go watch it now, okay? Thank you, Freddie, for the spam. Right, I'm off now, everyone. Thank you all so much for the time. Thank you again to everyone who was generous, and especially Joe, who was just ludicrously generous. And go and watch my video on whether Latifi might actually beat Albon next year. Maybe. Bye.